Good day everyone, welcome to this bonus video. Obviously, I did promise the Yak-9P Spade impressions, and well, you're gonna get it. So, the Yak-9P, let's go briefly over its history first, and because this thing does not have a lot of history behind it. It's almost impossible to find anything to do with this aircraft. But I'll do my best. So the Yak-9P appears to be a souped-up Yak-9U, possibly lightened, and well, it was sort of developed to basically say the Allies might not stop at Berlin, which is what the Russians feared. And well, apologies about that. 1 second. There we go. Um, as I was saying, the Yak-9P was developed in 1946 because, yes, this is a personal plane, from what I've been able to find. If I'm wrong, do correct me. But from what I've been able to find, this is a modification of a Yak-9U. It carries the same engine as the Yak-9U, and it was basically made to counter the Allies in case they didn't stop at Berlin. Luckily, they did stop at Berlin, otherwise it would have been World War III. But the Yak-9P was simply developed to do that purpose. Same with the Yak-3P. It sits at the same battle rating as the Yak-3P, as far as I'm aware. I haven't flown the 3P in ages. But this plane was essentially a stopgap measure, because obviously they had the Yak-15 coming soon, because I believe they used that in the parade. But yeah, this plane was pretty good if it was going to go into combat. It didn't see combat as far as I remember, but either way, it was still a very good aircraft for its time if it had seen combat. There are a few weaknesses with the aircraft, however. First of all, your engine overheats when you don't have the radiator mod installed. It is a bad overheat. I call it the Yak overheat because it happens with most Yaks. And well, your engine is going to boil and you'll constantly be throttling back. In the replay that I'm going to show you, you will hear constant throttle backs because I'm just trying to cool this engine because I forgot, like an idiot, to go for the radiator module. Whilst I'm here, I'll quickly go over what I recommend. Personally, get the 20mm straight away. Then go radiator, compressor, engine injection, and just go from here. If you have to get 2 mods to get to here, get the airframe. But go for these mods first. Don't worry about the 23 or the 37. The 23 is good, but you're going to get 75 shots in it. The 37, however, you get 40 shots, and, well, I can't, like, it's the same gun as the MiG-15, and I don't like the MiG-15's guns. But yeah, I'd rather stick with the 320mm because they all have the same velocity, they all line up correctly. That's just my opinion. You're entitled to your own. But the plane's wing tanks are very vulnerable to catching fire, but unlike most Yaks, this thing burns like a bitch. So don't expect to survive many fires. But yeah, so it's a decent plane overall, but it's just not the best. But the repair cost is a whole other story. It's nearly 13k, and I lost quite a lot of lines doing this plane for spading purposes. I've had it on the ropes for a while. It's just I've completely forgotten about it. Then I realised, oh bugger, um, the um, the repair cost is high, and I've not spaded it. One moment. It appears that my house phone is going off. I won't be a moment, folks. Okay, apologies about that. For some reason, the house phone was going off. On a Monday, I'm the only person in the house, so it is quite annoying when you've got noise-cancelling headphones on and you can't hear shit, but luckily, because I'm not in-game, I can hear it. Apologies. But, do I recommend flying this plane at the moment because of its repair cost? Yeah, do it. It's just you've got to be a lot more careful. One other thing to know about the Yak-9P is that it is not very maneuverable at low speeds, unlike most Yaks. Its armor plating features a single 8mm plate and two 64mm bulletproof glass segments. these are actually really useful for protecting your pilot. The engine's unarmored though, and the engine is quite vulnerable to taking coolant damage, which is a shame because this is a great plane, in my opinion. It's just that repair cost and the vulnerability to fuel tank fires and coolant damage really limits the plane. But anyway, let's get into the actual replay, because you will hear a lot of engine management, which is why I've named a replay requires engine management. But let's just say this was a interesting battle. But it did require me to use my throttle a lot, because I was wepping a lot in this battle because I needed the horsepower, because 1500 horsepower is good when you're not wepping, but 1800 is better. But like I say, I don't think the Yak-9P is the best of the bunch. I'd rather sit in the Yak-3P due to its extra maneuverability, but that's my opinion. So the one plane that I do actually intercept for once is the Ju-288 in this plane. If you've seen the attempted intercept funny moment that I had whilst flying this plane, this thing was just like the Ju-288 was just pulling away. But don't worry, I get to intercept one and actually shoot it down. There's your hint. And this was the only ace I got in the plane. Quite lucky actually, but it was a nice plane to fly. It's just, like I say, the repair cost limits it. The teams suck most of the time. I know, Russian teams sucking. Who'd have thought that? But there goes Skullcat 007. He is going to terrorize our bases. He's already bombed 2 of the buggers out in a single run, because obviously he can do that with the 2 1800 kilogram Satan bombs. But here we get into a bit of a sticky situation right now. So I thought, if I go for the 190, I'm going to have the 109 on my arse. If I go for the 190 or the 109, I may have the 190 on my arse. I completely cripple that BF 109. He's going to crash shortly in a few moments, giving me my first kill for the game. One thing to note is that your cannons obviously got nerfed a couple of patches ago, and that is a Focke-Wulf 190 Dora. Or as I nicknamed him, Dora the Explorer, but he's about to go explore the ground. If you didn't see what I blew off there, that was his elevator. And that is going to be my second kill. Most of my kills that I got with the 20mm cannons on this thing were with 5s, funny enough. I used the ground targets ammunition. There goes the Focke-Wulf 190. And there you can see the 109 that I damaged earlier. Down there to the right, where the Yak-3P, I believe it is going to go dive on it, but he's going to crash before the Yak-3P gets close. You can hear a lot of throttle backing, and well, it's not great. I mean, I can handle it because I'm used to planes like this, but there goes a nice fire, and that is another kill for me. Obviously, there goes as well the BF-109G from earlier, and that is my second and third kill for the game. Why the funny nose art on the plane? I forgot to note this in the past 2 videos. Because back in the day of when the belts were actually decent, this thing was a terror. It was an absolute terror to deal with because of its firepower. 3 20mm cannons with decent velocity. It was actually quite a fearful plane, and a lot of people would go out their way to deal with these things. Now I was getting increasingly concerned because there was a 109 there, and there's a Focke-Wulf 190 there behind me. So I decided to be on the safe side. I'm going to stick my nose up and go for the Focke-Wulf. But utilizing, like, looking around and having good situational awareness helps this plane a lot. And I do mean that, like, you're gonna need situational awareness to fly this thing. Now, unfortunately, I was beaten to the kill there, but I decided to keep the speed on, keep the throttle on, and catch this G14 like it's nothing. And the G14 pilot attempts to turn, but, well, I'm quite a good shot with these 20 mils, mate. 4th kill. And as much as I would like to say I've still got a lot of ammo in this thing, I don't. I believe the ammo load is 355 rounds, if I remember rightly. I pop an AA gun with 2 bursts of about 12 shells. You really do have to consider your ammo though, so don't take ground target kills if you think you're going to screw it up, because limited bursts in this plane are your friend. The cannons will do the damage, but sometimes they spark. And now we've got 2 planes to deal with, a Focke 190A5 and a VF190G2 Trop. Both very good planes if flown correctly. And obviously, I went down to deal with the G14 and the Focke 190A4, and, well, let's just say the team is going to struggle a bit to deal with these 2. And I'm going to now skip ahead because there's not really a lot that goes on except for me climbing, throttling back, etc. But overall, this was a good flight. I enjoyed the battle. It's just these guys here did drag the match a little bit. Obviously, the 109G has just been shot down. Sergey is now going to, well, there's no other word for it, run. But unfortunately, it doesn't work out for him. The LA7B20, which has the same armament as you, but it has better performance, well, same armament as this plane, I should say, takes him out before he can even run away. But yeah, this plane does hold its vertical energy retention very well. That's what I like about it. It's a very jack of all trades sort of plane. Sadly though, you cannot equip any bombs or rockets on this thing, which is a shame because then I would actually consider using it at ground RB, but hey ho. I think I got a 4-to-1 kill death ratio overall with the plane. It's a very nice plane to fly, as I already mentioned. Maneuverability, in earlier Yaks, you could give Spitfires run for your money if you know what you were doing. But in this, you won't stand a chance. I promise you that. But HD94 is going to run like a bitch. He's going to try and drag this match out, which is just a dick move. Fire a couple of bursts at him just to try to get him to maneuver and use speed, but I completely cut the engine here because I was actually about to overheat the engine entirely. And I believe in a moment it's either going to be Bobroni or Orange Blue Red who is going to call out the JU288C and say where he is. Once we shoot down the JU288, I'll obviously go into the final part of the video and all that. But right now, Skullcat is currently on his way to our final base. And there we go, Orange Blue Red has just put Burn Baby Burn, which is a good song, a little bit. I ask him if the fire's out, and obviously I consider fires to be, if it's out, it's fair game still. Doesn't count as a kill steal in my mind. I just say, well, I ain't got much ammo or fuel, but I'll intercept it anyway, because you never know, might get a decent game out of it. But HD94 is actually going to crash, dragging my team to the runway. And well, the JU288 is fast, but a diving Yak is just as fast. One thing to note, I only have about 90 rounds. And I get very lucky. Fuel tank fire and an engine fire. And down he goes. There's your race. Sadly though, orange, blue, red does not get an assist. So what did I think of the Yak-9P now that it's done? Well, it was good, I will admit, but your teams are bad. As with most allied aircraft. I mean, you do get to fight the allies every so often, and it is a joy. But most of the time, you will fight the Germans and the Japanese, and, well, yeah, you're going to have a fun time. The Italians will be probably your worst. The Japanese A7Ms will be your biggest nightmare, trust me. And on the German side, your biggest threat will probably be the G14s, Doras, and HE219s. But you can give the Germans a run for their money in dogfights. The Italians, you can't. They will just run rings around you. The Japanese, don't even bother trying. Boom and zoom them all, I recommend. It makes a great boom and zoom fighter once you get it upgraded, but stock, it's a bit of a dog, so bear that in mind. So I hope you enjoyed today's video on a Yak-9P. Overall, yeah, it's not a bad plane. It's just, it does have its limitations, as with most aircraft of the Yak series. But if I was to say to you to get straight away the second you get the plane, get radiator. It makes a big difference. I left radiator till last like an idiot. But if you get radiator first, this plane will at least cool itself down reasonably well. You literally just crank it back to 80% on the throttle and it will do just fine. Anyway, I will let you guys off and I hope you enjoyed today's video.